As as everyone makes their way out, we're just going to wander through and talk to people about the show tonight. What some of you thought about the program, who impressed you, whether you changed your mind about any issues. This will be put up on our social media page as well. Feel free to make your way out, but we'll be talking to people as you go. Thanks again for coming tonight. So another very interesting conversation. We covered so much ground tonight, particularly around the question of fairness. Are young people getting a fair go when it comes to the economy? Are Aboriginal people getting a fair go when it comes to a voice and the suffering of Aboriginal children in particular? And what about refugees? And a big discussion about refugees. I want to come over here and ask one of the questioners tonight. Hi, Yeli. Hi. Thank you for asking your question. Were you happy with the answer that you got tonight?
I was probably yes. I don't know. I will be looking forward for more answers.
And your situation at the moment, how worried are you about your situation?
You see, the thing is, I am so worried, and I'm actually anxious, and I'm scared, and it really prevents me from probably doing something better, from working more on my situation. And that's why I'm just asking these questions because I'm just so scared.
You're so scared.
Yeah.
Well, good luck. I hope you heard something tonight, and good luck for the future as well. We thank you for coming along and being able to ask your question. I want to just come up here. There's a couple of Iranian people who I know who have been here before. Excuse me. Hi. Hi. Hi, how are you? I know you've come to programs before and you've been part of this conversation. What did you hear tonight that landed with you? Did you hear anything to give you any optimism when it comes to your situation with temporary visas?
Unfortunately not. I was expecting some kind of clear plan. What are they going to draw and what's going to happen in future? I have the feelings very uncertain. I'm going to live in limbo and I don't know for how long. And
And what does living in limbo mean for you?
You don't have any certain future. You cannot make any plan for your future, for your children. They born in Australia, but they don't have any nationality yet, which is quite sad. And it's about 10 years we haven't seen our parents. And I really need to see them. They are getting old, and I'm afraid if I lose them. And lots of people are just living in the same situation.
Good luck again, because I know you've been fighting for this for a very long time. Can I just wander over here? Excuse me, sir. Just wondering what you thought of tonight's program. There's a lot of discussion about you brought your son along, is that right? There's a lot of discussion particularly about economic fairness. What concerns do you have for your own son when you're looking at his future and you're looking at where we're at the moment economically in Australia?
Yeah, it's obviously a really tough time. It's hard to see the future, really. There's a lot of challenges going on, and we're suffering, obviously, obviously with inflation and everything, and it's hard to picture the future. Obviously, house prices, interesting talking with the panel, the difference between, how people are going to afford housing and all that stuff in the future. That plays on the mind. I was sitting there and I was thinking, are there short-term solutions like maybe limiting Airbnbs? And we talked about immigration as well, right? That puts pressure on housing as well. So,
who impressed you tonight?
I was quite impressed by Catherine Little. I thought she was speaking quite a lot of common sense, and that really impressed me.
Well, good. Thanks for coming along. It's always good to see Q&A hosts of the future coming along as well. So there's discussion as well about the voice to Parliament. Anyone here have a voice, have an idea on the voice, and have questions to ask about the voice to Parliament? Does anyone? No? Oh, yeah, up here. We'll come up the back. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for coming. There was more discussion tonight about the voice to Parliament. Are you any clearer about the issues and how you think that the debate is starting to develop?
Yeah, I mean, what I'm a little bit lost about with the voice is why we're not grounding it in a deeper conversation about our constitution. It seems like the case against it seems to ignore that none of the other powers that are given to government are listed. So it just says taxation, for example, under Section 51, when it comes to what Parliament can legislate. So you don't really need a detailed model. But it seems that there are many lawyers who are politicians, but they seem to conveniently miss this fact when they're debating this. So I'm just a little bit confused about why we're not going towards experts and trying to enrich Australians' knowledge about their
About and do you have similar concerns about the Constitution and what this a voice might mean constitutionally?
I just think historically the Indigenous community in this country has been quite disrespected by the Constitution in the past, and I can't see the downside in enshrining the Indigenous voice in Australia's founding document. I don't see any political downside. I think being a part of a successful referendum is something that each political leader in this country should want to be a part of, just purely from a point standpoint. And I think that it's very easy to get stuck in the minutiae and play political games, when I think the baseline is that the Indigenous community in this country should be represented in so many policy choices.
And did what Catherine have to say tonight really resonate with you, particularly when she was talking about young people?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as someone who's worked in the prison oversight system, I can see that the impacts on young people and their broader outcomes in life is not really considered, especially when we're looking at debates like this that reduces statistics. But if we look at the on-the-ground policies that Catherine was talking about, it's important for government to be informed by those calm, non-politicised voices rather than be carried away with rhetoric and law and order politics, because that's what will ultimately get good outcomes.
Well, another fascinating discussion. I mean, one of the great things about Q&A is that we get to hear from the audience. A lot of people think it's about the panel. Actually, the program really is about the audience and about the audience bringing their questions. And again, we heard tonight lived experiences of people who are directly affected by the decisions that are made by people who appear on the panel. Thank you again for giving us your thoughts, and thank you again for watching.